Hi, I'm Jane from Poppy Patchwork, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a 12-inch block called Windmill. For this block you're going to need 6 4-inch squares in background fabric, 4 4-inch squares in fabric A, 4 4-inch squares in fabric B, and 2 4-inch squares in fabric C. So this block is made up of half square triangles, and the key to it is to match the right fabrics together. So I'm going to start by matching the fabric C's with the background fabrics. So there's 2 of those. Then the fabric A and B are matched together. So 2 fabric A and B's are matched together, and then fabric A's are matched with the background fabric, and fabric B's are matched with the background fabric. So that's how we want to match our fabrics up with each other. Now we need to draw a line across the diagonal on the background of the lightest of these combinations. I'll just move all of those to one side, and for these ones I'm going to draw a line on the reverse of the background fabrics. So I take my pencil, I start in the middle and I draw to one corner, and then I draw to the other corner, and that should hopefully stop too much dragging of fabric. So those are going to go with the fabric C's. Now for these I'm going to draw on the back of this lighter fabric. And then I'm going to draw on the remaining background fabrics. And now I'm going to pin these right sides together. Now I cut this white one a little bit smaller just to make efficient use of the fabric, and because I'm going to be trimming them down, that's going to be fine. When I take these over to the sewing machine, I'm going to line the edge of my 1/4 inch foot up on the line, and then sew 2 seams 1/4 inch away from the line on both sides of the line. I've designed this quilt block notebook, which I use when I'm planning out the blocks that I'm going to do videos for, and you may find it useful. You can buy it from Amazon, and if you scan this code using your phone, it'll take you straight to the Amazon page for it. Now let's get quilting. So I'm going to line the edge of the 1/4 inch foot along the line that I've drawn, and that will mean I'll sew 1/4 inch away from the line. I'm going to snip in between these and repeat on the other side of the line. I'm now going to snip these and take them back over to the cutting mat. So I'm just going to take the pins out. And now I'm going to cut along that drawn line. So these now need to be trimmed to 3.5 inches, and I'm going to show you two methods. The first method is using a square standard ruler, and so for this I am going to press the seams to the dark side, and I'm just going to finger press these and then use this seam roller. And then what you do is you line the diagonal line of the ruler along that sewn stitch line, and so you position the bottom and the left hand side just a little bit bigger than 3.5 inches, and then you're going to cut up the right side and along the top. And then you need to rotate it 180 degrees and then line that diagonal line exactly on the sewing line, and then the bottom and the left edges need to be exactly at 3.5 inches, and then you're going to trim up the right and along the top. And so now we have a half square triangle that is trimmed to 3.5 inches. So that is one method of doing it. My preferred method is to use this Quilt in a Day triangle square up ruler. And so for this, you need to take your half square triangle and leave it unfolded, leave it folded, and then you line the 3.5 inch line on the ruler up along your stitching, and you trim up one side and down the other. Now you can see I'm getting very little waste here. If you wanted to start with bigger squares, say 4.25 inch squares, you would get a little bit more waste. But you may feel more comfortable sewing slightly bigger half square triangles initially. So once we've trimmed all of these, they need to be pressed, and I'm going to press all the seams towards the darker fabrics. So I'm going to start by setting the seams and then pressing the seams towards the darker fabric. I'm going to trim these dog ears off, and then I'm going to set them out in the block layout. So now I'm ready to place these into the block layout. I'm just going to refer to my book and pop everything into the right place. So these ones are in the corners, and these ones are in the centres. So that is the layout for this block. So I am now going to sew them together in columns like this. So because I've pressed the seams in opposite directions, these seams should nest together. Just have to remember, right, that's right. So these seams are going to nest together, and then I'm going to pop a pin on the side that I'm going to sew. Now these ones won't nest together, the seams are going to cross over each other. And now in this column, the seams will nest. I'm going to take these over to the sewing machine and sew those seams with a 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to return these pieces to the block layout, but I'm not going to press the seams yet. I'm going to refer back to the block layout again to make sure I'm putting these in the right place. Okay, so I think that's right. I'm just checking with the book. So I'm going to join the top half to the bottom half. And when I join these two seams together, they're not butting. So what I can do is I can just flip that to one side. I'll pop a little pin in there, and that when I take it over to the sewing machine, I'll flip that seam to one side and they'll nest. At the minute, what I'm trying to do is just identify where I'm going to sew. So I'm going to take these back over to the sewing machine and sew with a 1/4 inch seam. So back at the sewing machine, I know that I'm going to sew along this edge, and I just need to either butt the seams up or flip one of the seams so that they can be butted. So in this case I need to flip this seam so that they can butt together, and I'm just going to put a pin in that seam join there, and then I will sew down here. On this pairing, these seams are butting together. Again, these ones are butting together. I'm just going to flip it over and sew towards the bulkier end of that seam. And on this one they're not butting together, so I'm going to flip the seam over so that they will butt, and I'll pop a pin in there. I'm going to snip between these and take them back over to the block layout. So I'm back over to lay these out on the block layout, and I know that I am going to be pressing, so I'm just going to bring the pressing mat up. I think it's this way around, I can't remember. Yep, so I'll just refer back to my book. And that is correct. So now that I've got these laid out, I can decide now which way I want to press the seams. So you can do it in one of two ways. You can press all the seams in opposite directions. So this column I would press away from me, and this column I would press towards me. So the seams would go in opposite directions, and that helps with butting things up together. You may want to press the seams open for this one so that all the points come together. So in that case, I think I'm going to press all my seams open so that I can get really nice, perfect points on these. So I'm going to set the seams, and then I'm going to press them open on the wrong side of the fabric, and then I will press them from the right side of the fabric. Now I'm going to put these back in the right order for the block layout. So I'm going to join together these two columns and then these two columns. And you want to make sure that when you join these together that you don't blunt any of your points. I do have a video on how to get perfect points. So if you right click on the link above, it will open this video up in a new window for you. So I'm going to take this back over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam, and I'm going to flip them over so that I can see where those points cross each other. So I'm back at the sewing machine. These two seams are going to butt together. When I get to this seam, I'm going to identify where the point is and make sure that I sew just to one side of that. For this middle seam, I can't see the point, so I'm going to have to rely on the 1/4 inch of the sewing machine. I'm going to take that back over to the ironing board and press the seams open. So congratulations, you have made the windmill block. Here are some quilt options. This is an illustration of the quilt repeating the same block. There is no sashing or borders, but the use of the white background fabric in the block allows the design and fabrics to stand out. This is an illustration of the quilt repeating the same block placed on point. There is no sashing or borders, but you would need to add blocks in background fabric in between the blocks, shown here with the stars, and add setting triangles around the edges, again shown here with the stars. This is an illustration of the quilt repeating the same block but with sashing, cornerstones and borders. And finally, this is an illustration of a sampler quilt using some of the blocks from this quilt block series. The sashing in this quilt is in the white background fabric. The cornerstones and border is in a darker fabric to pop and frame the quilt. Want to learn more? Watch another one of my videos from the Quilt Block series. Click above to go to my playlist. I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. More of these videos will be posted, so please tune in. Thank you for watching and bye for now.